Hi and welcome to the Malat Crockery channel. So today we're going to be making homemade pita breads using my yeast-free dough recipe, and as usual a full list of ingredients will be given at the end of the video. So let's have a look at those ingredients now and anything else we're going to need for today. So for our yeast-free pita bread recipe, I've got 300 grams of plain flour or all-purpose flour, 175 millilitres of warm water. We may need slightly more or less, we'll just have to see how that goes. I've got half a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of citric acid. So this is citric acid. You can buy this from any sort of home winemaking store or online. Half a teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda, and we're going to be using about 3 tablespoons of olive oil. So first thing we need to do is mix all of the dry ingredients with the flour. Next thing I want to do is add in the 3 tablespoons of olive oil. Make sure we get all of that olive oil out of the spoon. Now I'm just going to work this in with my hand just to produce like a really fine crumb. Okay, so that's what we've got at the moment. Next thing to do is to add the water just a little bit at a time until we get a dough which is slightly tacky but still quite comfortable to handle. Okay, so that's about right now. I've got about 15 mils of water left. So as I said, that was just a guide. The next thing we're going to do now is I'm going to get some scales and measure this out into 4 equal portions. Okay, so that's given us 120 grams roughly for each piece of dough. So the next thing we want to do, take a little bit of extra flour, and I'm just going to roll these out into almost like an eclipse shape, and they will then become our pita breads. Okay, so that's the kind of size we're looking at, just the size of your hand, and it's about 3 or 4 millimeters thick, so you need to do that with each piece of dough. Okay, so that's all 4 done. So I'm just going to place these onto a tray. Just so they can rest for about 10 minutes. I'm going to cover this now with food wrap so that the top of the pitas don't go hard, and then I'll show you the next step once I've had a chance to rest. Okay, so once the pitas have rested for 10 minutes, what I've got here is a heavy base pan. You can use a frying pan if you like. On a medium to high heat, get it up to a fairly high temperature, completely dry, so no oil in this pan. I've also placed the grill in the oven on the highest setting. Let that get up to temperature. So when both are up to temperature, the first thing we do is we place the pita dough onto the hot pan, and after a couple of minutes, 2 or 3 minutes, we'll start to see bubbles appearing on the surface of the actual dough itself. So once we have a decent amount of bubbles appearing on the surface, just like this, don't touch it. The next thing to do is to place this directly under the hot grill as soon as you can. And we're going to continue cooking for at least 2 or 3 minutes until the top side of that pita bread is done. Okay, so that's our first pita bread done. So what we get is we either get a partial separation of the 2 layers of dough like this, or you'll get a complete separation where the pita will actually blow up like an American football or a rugby ball. So just make sure that there's enough space between the pan and the actual elements of the grill so that the pita doesn't expand and actually touch the elements. So just make sure there's enough space between the two. So we'll carry on now and cook the rest of the pittas. Okay, so let's just have a look at one of these homemade pita breads. So they have got to be 10 times better than purchasing these cardboard style pita breads that we buy from the supermarket. And so easy to make as well. I'm going to be serving it with salad and also some of our homemade doner kebab meat. So if you want to see how to make your own doner kebab meat at home, click in the top right hand corner now, and that link will take you to the video which shows you exactly how to do the doner meat. So there you go, delicious homemade pita breads, literally 20 minutes from start to finish. Please subscribe to the channel, and as usual, if you've enjoyed this particular video, hit the like button. Thank you very much for watching.